I do enjoy the taste of Caesar salad.
Good for the soul.
Good for the soul. A big jar of Caesar dressing, you know. This is a weird way to end this segment. Silent Snake.
Ding, ding.
Holy games.
Kojima.
All is Halo. All is Metal Gear. All the
crying over here right now.
gamers play
This is so beautiful.
some games. Don't go on the internet and flame.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you. I don't really know how to end Silent Night, if I'm being honest.
And then it's, the next line will be sleep in heavenly peace in real life.
Hey, it's video game Podtimism.
I was trying to think of something too. I had nothing.
It's the
I was there
Optimist
with
video game variety show. Where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase.
And my name is David.
And here we are. It's the first little bit of December, although I'm realizing that we put out an episode yesterday, which was also in December. But this is the first one we're recording in December.
Yeah, where we are in December.
We're in December currently as you hear this. Wow. The holiday spirit is here. The spirit of gaming.
It's the season of gaming, baby.
It's a season of gaming, although not a lot of December stuff going on. There's a little bit here and there, but still nothing crazy. But man, I'm still crazy for these video games.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean?
I'm just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for them.
I'm cuckoo for Silent Snake, as they say.
Cuckoo for Silent Snake.
I love that Sam Porter Bridges.
Is that his name?
That's that's a Death Stranding.
Oh,
you should play that game. It's pretty good.
I should pop in, especially that they have like a remastered for PS5 one or something like that. Definitive edition, director's cut or something.
I've heard it's quite good. I've heard it scales up pretty well.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. That's on the short list of games to play. I'm just waiting for a good sale.
Hey, have you been playing video games?
I have been.
Could you tell me about them? You said you had some things to talk about.
Yeah, I've been playing some games.
Tell me about them.
I've been playing some games. Let me
about
pull up my list.
Okay,
so I've been kind of going through one of my phases where I just kind of jump around through a bunch of different games.
Yeah, sure.
Just see what sticks.
Yeah.
But I played a couple new ones. So I played Kill It With Fire.
Kill It With Fire?
Yeah, this game made me think of Garen because the whole premise of the game is you are hunting spiders in your home and trying to kill them.
Okay.
In various ways.
Yeah.
It's very creepy crawly. You like open up drawers and a spider will jump out and you have to chase it around and like throw a picture frame at it. Right?
Yeah.
Or then you get like guns and you just like shoot spiders. You're running around your house just shooting spiders, which was fun for a very good giggle.
Yeah.
It was very nice to run around a home and shooting at a spider with a gun. Was a unique experience.
Yeah.
But it was a fun little romp. I don't know if I'll go back to it quickly, but it's nice to have around.
What was this on? What did you play this on?
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Another great Game Pass inclusion.
Yeah, just gonna jump in, see what's going on, see if it's for me.
I'm looking at it now, it's got sort of like I wouldn't say low poly, but like kind of lo-fi look to it.
Yeah, it's not going for like super realistic.
No, just fun. It's very colorful.
It has like creepy crawly music. It has like a lot of really high pitched violins when the spiders are like running around. You can't see them and you can hear them like in your headphones if you have them on from like different areas of the room, like squeaking around. Yeah, it would be pretty funny to watch Garen play this game. I don't know if you could do it. Oh yeah,
I don't know if that would be a thing he's interested in.
Anyways, fun game.
Yeah, sure.
I also played Snowrunner.
Snowrunner. Dude, David, you are throwing some games at me right now.
This is a game that I had my eye on for quite some time, actually.
Is this a trucking game?
This is like a snow trucking simulator.
Whoa.
Essentially, I wanted to be an ice road trucker.
Whoa.
So I downloaded this. It's pretty in-depth. It's quite in-depth.
Yeah.
More than I thought it would be.
Okay.
It's hard just to drive in like a straight line. You really have to use all that is available to you and your truck, like your different gears, all-wheel drive, or like just back-wheel drive. Otherwise, you get stuck.
Yeah.
You have to get like go and find different trucks and different routes in the map by like getting to high points and like finding them.
This looks like Death Stranding, David. I'm looking at it now. It's so similar.
It's an interesting game. It's an interesting game. It's the truck physics a little tough, but in like a Dark Soulsy kind of way, as in you just got to learn how to do it the way that it wants you to, and then it starts falling in place.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like Death Stranding. Like walking is not easy in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And having to like plan your route and shit. Dang. Snowrunner. Whoa. This is kind of blowing my mind. I think I've seen this before in the PlayStation Store, and like my mind has just sort of like censored it from comprehension.
Just we don't care about this one.
Yeah, I think the big truck with the phrase Snowrunner on it, it just it's been purged from my memory.
Just wasn't for you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It looks interesting though. Like watching a trailer of it, I think it was just maybe a cover that was hard for me to see, because this looks honestly kind of good. It
kind of is. It's kind of my sleeper for the week.
Whoa.
It's the one that I didn't think was going to be... See, I thought I was going to have a very similar like farm simulator experience with this one. I never got to the same place that you did, where you just started meditating playing that game.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit more engaging right from the get-go, and you don't have to sift through as many like text boxes. It just kind of lets you go, and as you're going through the levels, like do this, do that, do the other thing. You're like, oh, okay, this is how I play. Which maybe Farm Simulator could have benefited from, just like a quick tutorial level. But I don't know. Maybe the tutorial level was too intense for me. I digress.
I think honestly, it's just an issue of too many text boxes in that tutorialization.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to sound like a doofus, but like too many text boxes just kind of gets me sometimes. Like I get overwhelmed with information.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, I can read it, but I also am trying to digest it in a way that I know how to apply it in a second. Where it is so much easier to get like a tooltip when you're like playing a game and be like, you should do this, or like, say you pop into, I don't know, like Stardew Valley or something like that. Like it's not totally overt what you need to do to like plant crops, but I know these games are totally different, but I think it's a lot more clear just from like, here are the tools you have, and here's what you can do at this very moment. Like just try something, see what's going on out there. Like they give you a hoe and a watering can. You're like, well, I have 2 items. Let me go try something. Whereas in Farming Simulator, they're like, listen, you have a fleet of John Deere at your disposal.
A fleet of John Deere, yeah.
And so like you need to figure out what to do with that, which is a lot.
Yeah, no, it is a lot. So yeah, I think this one is just better at giving you little bite-sized pieces of information. It's fun. I would recommend it. Give it a shot, Chase Albee. You might enjoy it.
I might play Snowrunner, the video game.
Maybe we do good games on it.
Oh, not a bad idea.
Anyways, next games, the 3 that I've probably been playing the most are still Halo, Forza, and GTA San Andreas as well.
Sure. Yeah, your main games.
Yeah. I've hit somewhat of a wall in San Andreas. I got to San Fierro. But there's something about San Fierro that just isn't quite as captivating as Los Santos in this game.
Yeah.
It seems just a little bit more dead than Los Santos seems just kind of like alive. I don't know if that's just my experience with it or what, but that's how it feels so far.
I think that they nailed how cool it felt to be like in LA in the 90s. Like the vibe is very strong down there.
Yeah.
I'm playing. I played this when I was younger. I don't think I even clocked that San Fierro was supposed to be San Francisco.
Really?
It is incredibly obvious looking at it, but like, yeah, geez. No, I agree. I don't remember a lot of the game outside of San Andreas.
You mean Los Santos?
Los Santos, yeah.
No, I think it's they nailed Los Santos, but San Fierro just feels like a little less vibey. Still very much like a good representation of the city, but not on the level of Los Santos. But it's still fun. And also, I guess I kind of fell off of this one because the RC plane missions are now keeping me from going any further. And
hellish.
I don't know. I don't know about it. I don't know This is how I want to spend my time. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. But it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah.
And it is, I think when I first said I was playing this game, I said I didn't think it was the new one, but it is actually. They just released the San Andreas one individually for Game Pass. And
gotcha.
there are definitely some janky jank situations in this game with the characters. One of the funniest ones was Big Smoke. I was running around with Big Smoke in one of the missions, and he started looking like an eggplant. But something happened like with his shoulders and his neck that made his shoulders and his neck like really like suck in, and so it looked like he was some sort of like he looked
tubular.
like that weird weasel from Ice Age.
Sid.
He
Sid
started looking
the
like
Sloth.
He started looking like Sid the Sloth, which was a little scary.
Doesn't anybody care about Sid the Sloth?
I forgot that you have a Sid the Sloth impersonation just ready to go.
I'm a big Sid head. What can I say?
You're a big Sid head.
They do this every year. What's when his family forgets him in the beginning?
Out of so many characters, why do you have a Sid the Sloth impersonation just cocked and ready to fire at any time, Chase?
I'm still interrogating that fact myself. I'm not sure. He left a measurable impact on me. It
really
seems
to have. Fascinating, truly. But yeah, that game's still fun. But the game that I want to talk about the most.
Okay.
I played Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh, hell yeah, David.
And I beat it.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it. That's the right way to do it. Fast.
That game was so good.
It's a really good video game.
That was so good.
Yeah. When did this one come out?
A couple of years ago now, I think, at least, right?
Yeah.
And they have it optimized for the new Xbox on Game Pass. So the graphics are like out of this world.
They were already pretty stunning, so I'm sure it looks just phenomenal. What did you think of this video game, David?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really, really good because in grad school, there's a mental health immersion course that we did where we had to put on headphones and then walk around with audio program running that's supposed to simulate how it is for people with schizophrenia.
Okay.
Like with the voices kind of going on and like noises kind of distracting you throughout the day. And we're supposed to just like go around campus and just like do like specific tasks while these things are going on in our ears. Yeah. And they did a pretty good job of reproducing that in this game with the Furies. And just the sound design in general is pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was just that was probably the thing that stood out to me the most was just their use of sound. Where it sounded like these things were not just in the environment, but like whispering in your ear, which was unsettling to say the least. But
did you play with headphones on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like critical.
You got to play with headphones on, and if try to get like a good pair of cans as well to really get the best experience, because you're gonna get a lot more out of the game if you really just delve into the audio side of it. Yeah. But yeah, just a feast for the senses, truly. Yeah. Because the graphics are fantastic as well, and they also use Rumble in a couple of spots to help guide you through. Yep. Really interesting story, great acting. Yeah. A truly affecting story that made me feel genuine, true human emotions. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent game. Short, but excellent.
Yeah, I think short and excellent. Like.
True.
I think the length of the game is like perfect for what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just wanted more. But I'm just greedy. I'm a greedy gamer.
A great feeling, right? Like when you beat a game and you're like, damn, I could use a lot of that. It leaves you wanting, not in the way you're like, that was unfinished, but like, I want to experience that still.
And exactly.
Yeah.
But there's definitely going to be a sequel. They definitely are very clear about that at the end of the game. They're like, join me on my next journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was, I don't know, the one thing that didn't feel quite in line with everything else, though, was just like the very like last bit of the game where they kind of like have her talk to you like that. And then also the music at the end of the game felt a little out of place for me. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't.
But it was kind of like, it was like an 80s themed like pop song playing like at the end of the game and during the credits. Yeah. Which seemed very out of place. It wasn't a bad song by any measure. Like it was a good song, but it just it thematically, I don't know if it seemed a little jarring. Like, you're done.
Yeah, and here's this thing.
And here's this kind of totally different thing. But still, excellent game. We recommend it to anybody.
It's definitely phenomenal. I love how concise that game was. I should probably play it again because I'm I'm like racking my brain for what even happened in it, and I'm drawing up short.
Oh, you don't remember Hella? Like one of the scariest creatures I have ever seen in a game.
That was frightening.
Oh my God, dude. Like this game is scary.
Yeah. They do such a good job of just like setting the mood, and like all of that shit is, it's really good.
It's Ninja Theory, right?
I think so. Let me see who did it. Yeah, it was Ninja Theory.
They made Heavenly Sword.
They did.
And Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
Yes.
Which was also a very excellent game.
Yeah.
And honestly pretty reminiscent of this.
Yeah, no, those two definitely have like a similar DNA.
Yeah, the combat style is very similar.
I almost missed Enslaved, honestly. I think you had played it on Game Pass and was like, you should play this.
Gamefly, the original Game Pass.
Yeah, sorry, Gamefly, you're correct. Game Pass of 2010.
Yeah. Their first Kung Fu Chaos was their first game. Sorry, what were you saying?
Whoa. I was just going to say that I want to play Heavenly Sword again because you and I had like watched some clips of that game and it's just so surreal. They were doing so many weird things with like camera angles and like showing two perspectives at once. Just so odd. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like taking an Ang Lee style of directing the game. We have like all these different boxes.
Yeah, it's like a comic book sort of.
Damn. Hellblade came out in 2017 and it still looks so damn good.
It's astounding how good that game looked. And like, I don't think Ninja Theory is a particularly huge company. Yeah, it's a phenomenal game. I like don't want to say too much about the narrative just because like it's short enough that you could definitely play it. And I think that like Hellblade is also not super like well known enough that everyone has played it. So like play it. If you can. It's very good.
Yeah, it is a short game. It's not too hard, but it's very satisfying.
It has a lot to like say about mental illness and the cycles of that, which is just really good and like handled in a way that feels like respectful without like using it as a crutch or like here's a plot device. Yeah, like here's a plot device that we're using rather than like we're trying to explain what this is like through a game. Which is, I don't know. That's the way it came off to me, at least. Yeah.
They did it so well, too, because people would be talking in your ears. Like the big, like, growly voice would be in your ears, like during fights, just like talking shit to you. And I started playing worse. I'm just like, God damn it. It just like distracts you so much when it's just in your ear like that. And that's just, it's so good.
Yeah, it's effective. Like they do a really good job of that. And yeah, like I feel like headphones are like such a critical part of this experience.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, play this game. It's great. It's really good.
It's good. God, dude, 2017. That was a big year for video games.
That was a big one. This one definitely just got lost in the scuffle in that year.
Yeah, if they could have spread this out over a couple of years, that would have been sick. Release Hellblade today, I'm sure they'd be like, damn, that's one of the games of the year. Sweet. I'm glad you played it and beat it. I'm glad it wasn't like, I'm like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I think I started on Friday or Saturday. I just like, got to get through this. I got to know what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's paced so well that you're just like, I cannot stop enjoying this video game.
There's just no filler. That's the benefit you get of having a shorter playtime is that you don't have those random filler levels where it's just like you're fighting through hordes of enemies. Looking at you, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's just all the stuff that you want. It's all the good bits.
What a good video game.
Yeah.
Sick. Did you play anything else?
That's it. What did you play, Chase?
I have played some games. Where to start? Put another 10-ish hours into Dyson Sphere program, as you do. I talked about this last week. It is another of one of these like factory games where the point of the game is to automate the building and extraction of resources from like certain planets to the point where you're building more increasingly complicated systems until you're like sending ships between planets to collect resources and shit, which I did this most recent time.
Nice.
Very, very satisfying. I was so glad I didn't have to go fly back out into space again. Because it is so scary as just this tiny little mech in space. I'm like, I really hope I have enough fuel and I don't get lost or I don't get sucked into the fucking sun. Like, let me just make sure I steer very clear of the sun.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Very scary. So, that was really satisfying. I'm still really enjoying it. I guess a peek behind the curtain. I've been trying to figure out what my game of the year is, or just like any on the list. And I've been looking at where Satisfactory and Dyson Sphere Program go on that list. Satisfactory came out, I think, in 2018, so I'm probably not going to include that. But, you know, I've been trying to figure out, like, does Dyson Sphere land on there? And I'm having a hard time figuring that out because I really like this game. And I also really like Satisfactory. Both of them have, like, opened my eyes to new kinds of games that I like. And I think there's, like, a hang up that because it is so mechanically focused that part of me almost doesn't want to put that as like a game of a year. Like I'm trying to think of something else that's like maybe very mechanically focused, like Dead Cells or something like that.
Sure.
Where like there is a story in Dead Cells, but like the mechanics of doing the like fighting and the roguelike parts of it, that's like the focus of the game.
Yeah.
But because these games are so devoid of that, I don't know. It feels weird saying that, like, I don't think this is one of the games of the year for me because, like, the game is really good and I have just fallen headlong into it. But there's also some sort of recognition that, like, is this it? I don't know if I don't know if I want to point to this and say, like, that's the best game of 2021. It's not in contention.
You're saying it's going to be number one?
I'm not even sure if it's going to be on the list. But like, I don't know. I was mostly just broaching this to like figure that out. And I don't know that I know.
So it doesn't feel enough like a game to you? Is that what you're saying?
I think it feels too much like a game. Like it feels like they built a very complicated like Atari 2600 game where like the mechanics are all you get. There's not really a lot else to be spoken for. And the game isn't really trying to like say very much. There's stuff you could kind of reach for, right? Like I think Satisfactory might be saying something about like the extraction of resources from a planet and like taking over a place with industry, but it is also definitely not about that. Like the focus of the game is so much more on the experience of building and automating that like it's not really saying that in any strong way. And the same goes for Dyson Sphere Program. And so like I think it is an achievement of satisfying that part of my brain. Like it does that so well. And I think that's like I think I'm in the very center of their target demographic of like weird sicko brain who likes to check things off of a list.
No, you're not sicko brain. You're Chase brain.
Yeah, it's the Chet Buttby in me.
It's the Chet Butt.
And I don't know. Like I think I'm pretty clear on what my game of the year is. And this game and that game have almost nothing in common with each other.
I mean, it's still a game.
It is a game. I think it's going too hard on the game part.
It's too. Like, it says it doesn't give any sort of story. It doesn't give any sort of commentary on anything. It's very
little. It's very sparse.
That's a type of game.
It is a type of game. I think I just need a little bit more video in my game.
Sure. It almost feels like what you're playing like a zhuzhed up Excel spreadsheet.
A little bit, which is a bummer, but still, it's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see once Goaty season rolls around.
Sure.
And I'm like
how you feeling
trying
about
to decide, which one. But like, I don't know. I think there's just some sort of acknowledgement that like, if the progression system wasn't there, if there wasn't this huge tech tree, I think I wouldn't play these games for very long. Like, if I was offered everything, every tool from the get-go, I wouldn't be interested in these kinds of games. It is just for the sense of progression of like unlocking something new, exploring and utilizing that new tool to further unlock more tools and utilization.
Ding boy.
It's the ding boy, man. I'm skirting around the word, but that's it. Like it is the boy who wants achievement in my head. It's the same reason when I play WoW or any sort of MMO, the minute I hit the level cap, I'm like, I think I'm done with the video game now. Like the end game does not really interest me that much. Or alternatively, why the end of Pokemon is the part of Pokemon that I like. Because the story is kind of just nothing, but being able to catch them all. Yes, please. I will try and do that.
Do you always catch them all?
Absolutely not. I haven't done it once, but I always chase that dragon.
The threat of it's there, though.
Yeah, I'm always like, I think this is the one. I think I'm going to do it. More on that later.
More. Oh, okay.
Anyway, so point being, I think I've like sort of stopped playing Dyson Sphere Program. Not because it wasn't enjoyable, but I think I was just like, I'm close enough to the end of this that I can see it, and I don't think I need to do very much more. So, yeah. I shut down Dyson Sphere program. I closed it, said I'm good.
Wow.
Anyway, I downloaded Timberborn, David.
Timberborn? Is this like Bloodborne, but it's wood?
Timberborn is an automation game, kind of. It was in the related section of Dyson Sphere program. So got a freshie. Another one to scratch that itch.
You're just gonna roll through all of these games, aren't you?
Yeah, there's no game is safe. I'll play them all.
What do you need from like real life to scratch this itch for you?
I don't know what it is, David. I don't think that real life offers something.
Can you scratch this itch somewhere else besides these games and free you from this curse?
I honestly don't think so. There's something about these games.
Oh man.
Okay, so Timberborn is an automation game, sort of. It's not quite as like specifically focused on automation as Dyson Sphere program and Satisfactory are. It's a lot more about like city building and reminds me a lot of Frostpunk. I think I talked about this either late last year or early this year. Frostpunk being the like game where you're trying to survive just this like hellish winter. You like build your city in like a circle and like there's all these sorts of shit trying to just like destroy you. This game is a lot less dire, but the best part about it, you do play as beavers in this video game.
You play as beavers.
Beavers are the people that you're playing as. There's like some in-universe lore that hints at like the world has been destroyed.
So are these like big mutant beavers?
No, they're regular beavers. But they're quite intelligent. And so like you like one of the early buildings you start unlocking is like a research facility. And the beavers are like, hey, I think we can build water wheels and start making like electricity and shit.
Oh my God. The dark horse species to replace humanity once we end beavers.
That is the subtext in this game, that like beavers are going to inherit the world.
All right.
So the main, I guess, enemy or challenge in this game is that you are similar to Frostpunk. You are mostly fighting against the elements. There are droughts that hit every now and then. And like that really fucks with your town because you're growing like crops and a lot of your electricity and like research depends on the river. Like a lot of the stuff that you're generating depends on the river flowing. And so when it's not there, it becomes a lot more challenging to survive. And so the game falls into these like peaks and valleys where things are good and you are researching new stuff and you're getting farther along in like a beaver tech tree and got plenty of water, got plenty of food, and you have to like stockpile that because, you know, it says in 3 days, there's going to be a drought that lasts for 5 days. And so like you sort of have to like plan your next couple of days around that. And so it forces you to play kind of like conservatively a little bit. Whereas a lot of the time in like RTS games, you're kind of encouraged to like, just if you have money, spend it immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's a lot more like you kind of need to plan for the winter, essentially. It's interesting. I don't think I'm like obsessed with it in the way that I was obsessed with Frostpunk.
Yeah.
I am very glad that it is not as dire and dark as Frostpunk is.
Sure.
Frostpunk is brutal. Like it's like you are the last of like humanity, essentially trying to survive in this pit. And like if your popularity dips below a certain point as like the mayor of shit town, then like you'll just get exiled, and that's the end of the game.
Damn.
I haven't lost any beavers to hunger yet, so I don't know what happens then, but like it's a lot less intense. The music is also like weirdly very good. Like incredible. I don't know if it's like a French horn or something like that, but there's some great horns in there.
French horn.
It's real good.
Okay.
I'll see if I can pull a little bit to show the listener.
Sure.
But, ooh, some of that music in there. And again, it's just a lot more optimistic than Frostpunk was. So anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying it. There is some automation in there, but it does take a little while to get to. So like I said, it's just a lot less focused on that part of the game, but still fucking good. I am also playing this game on Switch called Rise Eterna.
Okay.
this was, I'd seen this game for a while. It's just kind of like lurking in the Switch store. And there was a sale and it went on sale for $2. And I was like, yeah, I'll play that. I think it's normally like 20 or 30. So I'm like, yes, gotta play. Rise Eterna is this like character-based, turn-based strategy game, I guess. I'm trying to find the words that aren't its Fire Emblem, but it is also that.
Sure.
And so we talked about this a little bit last week and then previously as well about these games that like go after a specific game. I think this was in context to Mortal Shell and how much it was so similar to Dark Souls. And a very similar thing is happening here with Rise Eterna and Fire Emblem. Like the gameplay mechanics are so similar. Like it is very much a tile-based, turn-based sort of a fighting game or strategy game. And it's all sort of based around these like characters that you can unlock. I think I have a more open mind to games that are similar to Fire Emblem because there aren't very many of them.
Sure.
Like shockingly, there are just not that many games that go after Fire Emblem style that hard.
It's iconic for them.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm just not really sure why that is. I guess just because it would just look so similar, but at the same time, like I think it's fun to explore what somebody's twist on these games looks like.
Yeah, it could be its own little genre.
Yeah. Whereas right now it's just kind of one game. And so I was happy to like kind of take a dive into this one. I think I talked about this like ROM hack of Fire Emblem, I think earlier in the year. And this game does a lot of like kind of similar stuff in that it's like, hey, we can cuss now. Let's cuss.
Ooh.
Let's curse. And so like they do that pretty quickly.
We're swearing in this game now.
Yeah.
We're sailors.
All the characters are like a little bit edgier. The game opens with like bandits burning a village and shit like that.
Oh,
and so
damn.
I get that when you're playing Fire Emblem, I don't always think about this, but it sort of does. They do shy away a little bit from the violence. I think the effect of it is there sometimes, like in Three Houses and shit like that. You see the characters grappling with like, ooh, I just killed somebody. I didn't like that very much, or that's the first time I've done that.
Yeah.
But also by and large, that is like done by the end of the game.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, killing, I'm into that. Whereas in a lot of the other Fire Emblem games, it's just like, it's fantasy. We just kill here. That's a thing we do. And this game does like look at it a little bit harder in just the sense of like, it's not shying away from the violence of it. To some extent, I haven't beaten the game, so I can't comment on like how it handles it over the course of the whole thing. But at the very least, it is trying to look at it a little bit more than Fire Emblem games do. And I also get how that would be kind of the first thing you reach for when trying to build a Fire Emblem-like game.
Yeah, what does Fire Emblem not do?
Yeah, and so like, how can we do that? And I think cussing and blood.
Cussing and blood.
So yeah, it's interesting. I'm enjoying it, and it's also making me realize just how polished the Fire Emblem games are.
Sure. Like when you played Nickelodeon All-Stars or whatever it is.
Exactly. No, it's exactly the same situation where I'm like, okay, there's like the sound effects are a little weird here, or like the animations are a little like clunky, or the transition between battle and not battle just sort of like pops in and out. Whereas in Fire Emblem, there's usually like the little like, and then it zooms in on the people. Yeah. And then they fight, and then it zooms back out, and like all that sort of stuff. Whereas this one's just kind of on. Yeah. And so I don't dislike the lack of polish there. I just notice it when I'm playing this game.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I think overall this game is just interesting to me to like play through and experience. Like what do you guys, what are y'all changing in here? And I will say that like it seems like they are doing a more intentional job with the characterization than some Fire Emblems games do. I think the most recent entries in the series are a very big exception to that. Awakening did a lot better with like the characterization, and then Three Houses just like blew it out of the water with how much they are talking about their characters. But I think this one is also trying to approach it from sort of a different angle of like, I think Three Houses succeeds and excels because it just shows you so much of these characters and so many different interactions with the other characters. And the writing is obviously incredible and very good and like nuanced and in depth. But I think this one is trying to tell it with a little less maximalism than Three Houses does, because there's just a lot in Three Houses. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of dialogue and writing and voice acting.
Yeah.
And I think just by the sheer nature of this being an indie game, like it can't do that. So it has to be a little bit more smart with what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much I love the characters in it, but I do see that like they're trying. They're trying. Yeah,
that's a hard thing to emulate.
Yeah, no, it's challenging. So anyway, yeah, I'm sort of like I don't know if mixed is the right word, but I'm still enjoying playing this game right now.
Nice. And hey, it was $2, right?
And hey, it was $2.
Get off my back, Mom.
I spent $2 on the Nintendo Switch eStore. Okay. The final game that I've been playing this week is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Yeah. David,
how's it going? You catch them all? How many are there in this one to catch?
Great question. Haven't even looked at it yet. I beat the Elite Four yesterday.
Nice. Which
was very good. The game was very easy right up until the Elite Four.
Yeah.
I got put in the fucking dumpster over and over and over again.
That's how it should be.
Honestly, yeah. Like I don't hate the difficulty spike. I think it is a little weird to have that. Like there's such a stark difference in how hard it is.
Yeah.
And I think like the first 4 people in the Elite Four, they're all a little bit like, okay, this is hard, and you've got some high level rare pokes that you're bringing out, but like for the most part, you can find like a few Pokemon that will poke a few holes in their defenses, right?
Yeah.
And then Cynthia rolls up and it's just like picks me up by my armpits like a tiny little baby and drop kicks me back to the beginning of the fucking Elite Four. Just devastating. Just crushed me over and over and over again.
What exactly about her was so difficult?
She has a team of Pokemon that have so much coverage with one another that, like, you know, when you roll up to like the dude who's standing in the middle of a room that's currently on fire and he's got red hair and he's like, I'm gonna burn bright. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Gyarados and like we'll make this happen.
Yeah.
But Cynthia rolls up. She throws at it. I think it's a Spirit Tomb or something like that. It's a fairy dark type or something, which has like so few super effective moves against it, and just like crushes about half my team pretty easily. I like managed to figure it out eventually. Like that, okay, I need to put a very strong big boy out there in the beginning to just sort of like punch that one for a little while,
sure,
and then see what happens.
My name's Strong Big Boy.
It's go Strong Big Boy. It's your turn.
Who was your Strong Big Boy?
Luxray was my Strong Big Boy. It was like the electric dark Pokemon because he's pretty quick and he was also much higher than the rest of my team. I think he was like 68 by the time I was done with it. So could tank a few moves for me. She would throw out Spiritomb, and then usually would switch over to Militok, which is like the Dratini kind of Pokemon of this generation. A very intense water type, but also had fucking ice moves, David. So I threw out my grass type, and then I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get this one. It's just a water type. She ice beams me, and I get fucking blasted back to the start of the Elite Four.
She knew.
So I got around that. She throws out a Roserade eventually. That's fine. Got that unlocked. That's just a grass type. We can handle those. Gastrodon, pretty tough because that's like a very tough, tanky Pokemon. So really got to work that one out.
Yeah.
Lucario comes out and just beats my whole ass over and over and over again.
The whole ass.
My whole ass. Eventually get to like the situation where I'm like, okay, I think I can find a way in there. And then just I hear stomps in the background and big Garchomp comes out and just kicks me into next Tuesday, dude. I was out. That Garchomp ruled my life for a few hours of Sunday.
A few hours, damn.
This took me all fucking day yesterday. I was just hurling myself and my team at the Elite Four over and over and over again. The only thing I could figure out, in fact, to get around Garchomp was another Garchomp. I just had to go catch one, bring it back, and like take it with me through the fucking Elite Four until he was strong enough to fight him.
We can't beat you. We'll join you.
It's the meme of the two Spider-Mans like pointing at each other. I took a screen cap because like it was just like such a devastating fight between the two of them. Yeah. They're both weak to dragon moves and they're also dragon types. So like they're just clawing at each other with these dragon types over and over and over again.
Eventually they kill a monster with another monster.
Exactly. That's what happened. Eventually they both died on the same turn for me. That was my last move. And Luxray was just behind me with like half health being like, please don't send me in there, dude. That Garchomp's going to put me in the dumpy. I can't handle that. But they both died, and then Luxray got out and was like, I did it, and then that was the end of the Elite Four. for me.
Nice. Good job,
It was
Trey.
It was great. He did a great job.
The sacrificial car jump.
My rival Bingus was nowhere to be seen, so got there before him.
Bingus. Damn. That's a good name.
So yeah, really got my ass kicked. But it was honestly a little fun. Reminded me of how challenging it was in Red, where I just took my dopey Charizard into the Elite Four over and over and over until he could finally tank through the ice moves and then blow somebody up. It's great fun. I like Pokemon. I suspect that someone could come down after the Elite Four or even before while they're playing it and be like, this actually kind of sucks. Because it does feel like a awfully sizable difficulty spike.
Yeah.
You also get into the situation where if you didn't buy a bunch of shit before you went in there, you could stand to lose a lot of your money. And so there was one, I don't remember which Pokemon game, but there was one Pokemon game where I was like, I had no money left. And like they just kept taking it from me every time I went through the Elite Four.
Brutal.
And so I had to like get my team up high enough to the point where I didn't need potions or revives. Like I was just able to go through straight, which was not easy.
Yeah.
That is not how it's designed. And so I was very wary of doing that again. So yeah, but it was still pretty fun. I enjoyed my time with this game. I'm still going to play it. I want to catch some of them, if not all of them.
Pokemon. Catch some of them.
Anyway, this will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week, David.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's grinding, David.
Grinding? Oh,
It's grinding.
Goodness, that's your Podtimistic thing of the week.
The subtle joys of grinding. that one struck your fancy a little?
Yeah, the subtle art of grinding, the subtle joys of grinding. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the subtle joys of grinding.
It just felt like the subtitle to a high school dance. You know,
it's the our take on thoroughly modern Millie : the subtle joys of grinding.
The subtle joys of grinding. Why thoroughly modern Millie of everything that you could think of?
That was one of the plays that our school did in high school, and so that's the one I reached for.
We sure did do it. It was fun. That was a fun play.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. Yes. So grinding. It's a very interesting spice. The grinding.
The grinding spice.
Because you put too much in there and it's overwhelming. I don't like a game where you like are oftentimes required to grind often, because it starts feeling like a grind. It doesn't feel as good.
Good at all.
I think a lot of the older Final Fantasies are victim to this, that they do require a pretty significant amount of grinding. And so like in hindsight, those re-releases that came out in the last couple of years where they allow you to like not die and just like have your ultimate gauge always filled, very nice, because you can sort of flatten out that difficulty for yourself. But just every now and then when it's like, I am not strong enough, I'm going to go train in the forest for a couple hours. Something nice about that. Just like I'm putting on a podcast, I'm just going to go beat the shit out of some Badoofs for a couple hours and get stronger.
Gonna go out and just beat up on these wild creatures for a bit.
Yeah, and like, you know me, obviously Ding Boy, love to see the numbers go up.
You love that. After every battle, you see how much XP they get. The sound of XP going up, it's like it scratches my brain in such a nice way. It is drugs for you. I hear it in my head now.
Real crunchy sounds in those. Love it. Anyway, yeah, love a aptly placed grind. A tasteful grind, you might say.
Tasteful grind. I hear that. I hear you. Yeah. That sounds like it could be a coffee shop. Tasteful grind.
Ooh, it does, actually. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's thoroughly modern Millie 2. The subtle joy of grinding, a tasteful grind.
A tasteful grind.
Redux. 365 over 2. Dream drop distance.
/ live to grind another day.
.hack.net.
.hack.net, yes. God.
Do you have something fueling your sense of optimism this week, David?
I do.
Could you tell me?
It is a good intro.
Oh, a good intro. Absolutely.
Yeah, good intro. Senua had such a good intro.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember it.
Comes out swinging, if I remember correctly.
Super cinematic. It's just, you're not even doing anything. It's just like you're peeking in on her story. And then you kind of just gradually are given more control over her. But It's just you following her around in this little canoe that she's obviously like fashioned herself as she's canoeing down this river with just impaled bodies and spooky noises. And she's just clearly unsettled in this area. And you're just getting the little whispers in your ears about like what's going on. The game's talking to you. It's breaking the fourth wall in the very beginning of the game, which is pretty cool. It's a very moody, vibey, gets you in and invested so fast. with this game. You're just like, all right, we're here, we're doing it, let's go, let's see where this takes us.
Yeah, absolutely. A good first level will really like it lasts a while. Like how good a first level is can like genuinely carry me through for like hours.
Yeah, no, it was masterfully done, truly.
Yeah.
It does stick, it just gets you invested. That's what it is.
Yeah.
There's so many games, you just boot them up and it's just text boxes and intros and tutorials, whereas this one's just like, okay, we got to get you invested first. We got to get you to care about this person first, and then we'll hit you with some of the details.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was great.
They lead with hooking you into the story. So like maybe if the mechanics aren't exactly your thing, you've still got like some stuff to hang on to.
Exactly.
I feel like there's a pretty big laundry list of games that have just like killer first couple hours or like even the first like 30 minutes. I think like The Last of Us 1 comes to mind. That game is really like, hey, here's the whole fucking thing and it's going to be wild.
Yeah. The first hour or two of The Last of Us is so good.
The like title drop after the like first part that you play is incredible.
So good.
The time jump in that game, like that happens immediately where like after you play the intro, it's like, 15 years later or something like that. Like that's nuts.
First level is so fucked.
It's rough. Yeah. And I think it definitely introduces you to like, this is the game, get on or get off. Like
I tell you, it's going to be, my dad played that level and he's like, I can't play this game.
I suspect as a parent, it would be a pretty devastating intro to a video game.
Yeah, like he told me that he was just like shocked. He was in shock for like a good couple hours after trying that one. He's like, I can't play that ever again.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I get it, man. Like, again, I'm glad that I was like in my 20s when I was able to play that, because like I was probably the farthest away from either being a child or having one.
Yeah.
And so like it was a little bit more palatable at the time. But yeah, I think pretty much the moment I step into dadhood, I'm like, I think I'm good on ever playing that intro again. It's going to hit just a little bit different.
Most definitely.
I think the intro level of Resident Evil 4 is astoundingly good.
That's a good one.
They do such a good job with the tension building and like the design of that like cursed ass town that you go through, the way that it like sort of ratchets up the pressure until you've like got like the whole town coming after you and shit.
Yeah.
Just incredible stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good one. God of War 3, that's a classic.
Yes, absolutely.
Climbing Mount Olympus on the back of a Titan, pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's heavy immediately as well. Like,
yeah.
Hey, here's the fun. We're not going to make you wait for this. I feel like the intro to Mass Effect 2 is also really incredible. Where after all the shit that you did in the first one, after all the cool stuff that's happened, your Shepard just immediately gets blasted out of an airlock. Yeah, like is so quickly killed, and like that's a pretty subversive intro to a video game. You know, like they do bring you back fairly quick, but like imagine if Nathan Drake was just shot at the beginning of Uncharted 2 rather than like climbing through a train, which was also a good intro.
That was great. Oh God, that was a good one. Yeah. Just climbing on the train. Bloodborne. That's a good intro.
Great.
It's just old Yarnum.
Yeah, that like nails the vibe of the whole game very, very quickly. I think if I remember correctly, BioShock had a pretty good intro as well.
Oh yeah, it was more like Senua's, where you're not fighting or doing anything. You're just kind of exploring and being in this world. Yeah, and you go down to the bathysphere. Yeah, and they play the song and his little monologue. God,
it's so good. It's a good one.
That's a classic, man.
I think also the first little bit of Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if you've played the older one or the remake, but like it comes out pretty quick. Like the action is ratcheted up very quickly, which I think this is just like a flavor thing that sometimes is challenging for me. But like sometimes JRPGs take their damn time getting into like the rising action of something. And so I'm always happy whenever I boot up Final Fantasy VII and it's like, no, we're in it. You're in the fucking Mako reactor. Let's go, dude.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And obviously the GOAT, Sonic Adventure 2 City Escape, riding around at the speed of sound.
It's pretty good.
It's the best one on the list. That's it.
Pretty good. Oh, you got me there.
Do you want to move on to our main thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Did you already finish that whole topo? That big topi?
I did finish that big topi.
Damn.
Hello.
Hello.
How do you do, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm Good Games, the segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gosh, all the things that we love about them. Thank you for asking. I don't know how this one came up. I think it was just on a list of things that I was like, this would be fun, and threw it out, and you're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Snowboard Kids 2.
Yeah.
Which is a snowboarding video game. I gathered that you had not played this before.
I had not. I didn't even know this game existed.
Yeah, I sort of suspect that might be the trajectory of a lot of listeners or game players of the podcast audience.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, can I hit you with a few hot stats?
Please.
Hot stats.
Snowboard Kids 2 came out March 2nd in North America, 1999. So I think that was 3 years after the N64 launch. There was a previous Snowboard Kids that had come out, I think, 2 years prior.
So this is the sequel.
This is the sequel, Snowboard Kids 2. It's the sequel to that one. I figured we could do the first one, but I remember this one being a little bit more interesting. So I figured it would make for better conversation fodder.
Sure.
It was made by a company that changed its name eventually to I think it's Rosjin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mostly Japanese company, so I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Sure.
But they are behind such wonderful titles as Bomberman 64, Bomberman Land 2 and 3, Bomberman Kart, and a handful of Full Metal Alchemist
Bomberman
games.
Kart?
Bomberman Kart. I have not played Bomberman Kart.
And Full Metal Alchemist?
Yeah.
My goodness.
This was, I feel like it's an early video game Podtimism meme to be a little bit unpodtimistic about Bomberman. I feel like that was a thing, because totally honestly, I have no appetite for the Bomberman.
It was like this weird cross, top-down puzzle game, wasn't it?
Initially, yeah, I think it was like a PvP sort of thing where you would fight other people in a top-down area where if you placed a bomb, it just blows up any direction that it can, like up, left, down, or right. And I don't have a huge appetite for it. But also, I definitely played Bomberman 64, and I don't remember an inch of it. So who knows? Maybe that was fun.
As a kid, even as a child, I'm like, I didn't know the term for it back then, but it felt like a bait and switch where the commercials and the cover art did not convey what I would actually be doing in the game. It looked way cooler than it actually ended up being.
That is true. I think that may have just been a holdover from the very early Atari days where the cover looks fucking sick. That looks like some shit. But what they're actually doing there is listen, we're going to meet you halfway, but you have to imagine that there's a dragon on the screen. It's just a box, my man. I'm sorry.
It's a dragon. It's a big scary dragon. Come on.
We're doing the best we can here. You've got a stick and a button. Please. We'll get there eventually, but this is what we got right now.
Sure. I get you.
Anyway, so it's Rosjin is by and large a company that developed games out of Japan. They had a bunch of Japan only releases and worked a lot for Atlas, the publishing company. So I do have a review from the outlet Video Games.
Oh,
which is a German outlet, which we so astutely figured out that jeux vidéo, we believe, just means video games in French. So I am wondering if Moby Games is taking some liberty with what outlet these things are coming from.
Yeah. Why is everyone just naming their magazine Video Games? Yeah,
I'm wondering if this is sort of a categorization error that they're just being lumped in. But I say that, and also jeux vidéo has a voice, man. They speak with a certain caliber that I'm there's no way you can imitate this.
It's true.
Anyway, I took the review that the outlet Video Games did in 1999, and I ran it through Google Translate a bunch of times to just mangle it and fuck it up.
Sure.
And then eventually arrived back in English to get a artist's interpretation of what they said originally.
Okay.
So let's take a listen. Video Games said, "The guys did well on ice last year. We saw Dirk's 4 out of 98% fun. The skiers got a big 2 loss due to poor sports, big, visible, and extreme during the summer break. Of course, it is fun, especially in the 4 gamer time, but you can expect updates within a year or never. If you, like a lot of people in other games like this, you can definitely get in and everyone will want to get out. 50 out of 100. Video games
You'll want to get in. Everyone will want to get out. It's ominous.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a threat there. Video games did not like this one. 5 out of 10 is not great.
That's a bad score.
It's a bad score, even though it is big, visible, and extreme.
Hey, you might get an update in a year or never.
Or never. You can expect an update, maybe.
Hey, we can give you either a year or never. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. It's either going to be that long, or you will literally never receive it.
Pretty much.
Could you run it by me what this video game is, David?
Yeah. So it is Snowboard Kids. So there are different kids that you can control. You have a choice of I think like 6 or 8.
It's initially 6, I think. Yeah.
Gotcha. Of these little kiddos, and you can do various different activities. The main one is there's like a little story mode you can do, and just by going down different courses and trying to beat your friends in a snowboarding race.
Yep.
Best 3 laps. So you go down the mountain, then you go back up on the ski lift afterwards, or the turtle, or whatever it is that you need to get back to the starting point at the beginning of the map.
Yep.
And there's also a Mario Kart element to it, in that there are little crates on the course that you can pick up and then do different attacks to your friends. Like I got the one that was balloons, and then you fire them at people, and it just hooks a balloon up to them, and they just are like they're just like stuck floating above where they got taken out. That one was particularly funny to me personally.
Highly effective.
Highly effective. But then you also get like bombs. You can freeze people with ice blocks. What other ones were there? There were like speed boost things, like a propeller you can get on the back, or a jet, or anything like that.
Yep,
they're pretty fun. And then the levels can get a little wacky sometimes too. You like go underwater. You'll go like off giant ramps that'll put a giant rocket on the back of your board, and you'll just go launching up into space essentially.
Yeah, it pretty quickly diverts from being a snow only game.
Yeah. You're like, I think the second level, you're like, okay, we're gonna be going down like just a rocky mountain, no snow, and then into the ocean. Here we go. It becomes Mario Kart kind of quickly. But it's fun.
Yeah.
Other different mini games, just like a trick mini game you can do, and just try to get like high scores on tricks. Like a go and deliver the papers mini game as well, which is surprisingly difficult. You really have to aim. Those
it's not easy.
Hitboxes are unforgiving to get into the into the mailbox. Yeah, and you can there's some customization. You can paint your boards or buy new boards that give you better stats, things like that. And there's also like an internet cafe in the game, but I have no idea what that even is for. I was kind of confused by it. But that's essentially the game. It's essentially the game, I think. Anything you want to add?
No, I think that's it. It definitely slots into the like Mario Kart alternative game. Yeah, where it's like definitely going for like a chipper racing game, but it has made enough changes that it's like, this is something definitely different here. I think like Diddy Kong Racing kind of comes to mind, where it's like, we're racing, but like there's a lot of shit, and there's like, attacks that you can do on different people, but like there's twists in it that are not strictly like, this is just Mario Kart. Yeah, you played this game a little bit.
I did.
What were your thoughts after having kind of consumed it a little?
I thought overall it was a fun experience. I liked the levels. They're very varied. I liked just the amount of different ways to play the game it gives you. I was kind of surprised by that. What else did I like? I liked doing little tricks off of the big jumps that you would do. Didn't really understand the point of those, but they were fun to just kind of mess around with.
It does look cool. There's a big man that says like cool or like good job after you land, which I loved.
That's always important. I need the verbal feedback immediately after I do a trick to know whether or not I'm doing a good job.
Tell me I'm good, Sky God.
Sky God, please. I liked all the different characters.
Yeah.
They each seemed pretty unique and interesting. Had their own style. And I kind of had fun with the dopey little story that they put in.
I know.
Where they had like a demon kid come from hell.
Yeah, it's Damien, and it appears that he is just like a demon.
He's just like a demon who's trying to like play pranks on them, but always messes up.
The whole story reminded me of like a silent film era sort of production where like there's genuinely not a very much story to be told of at all. Like Damien shows up, he tries to throw a bomb at the kids. The bomb does not go very far, and then he blows himself up. And then the kids are like, let's go race. And then that is the intro to the first level. I think the second level, Damien shows up and he's like, I'm gonna fuck him up real good. And so he like
Send this
hits
crab over.
Yeah, he hits a crab on the head, and the crab's like, all right, I'm gonna go fuck with these kids. And like, I think one of them does get a little pinched.
Yeah.
But then I don't
just
remember what happens.
It off. He just like shakes it and it goes flying.
He yeets it, and then one of the kids, I think, just says like, let's race.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the intro to the other one. So I think story is sort of a loose definition for what's going on in here.
Well, the crab goes back to Damien and hits him as well.
He gets his comeuppance pretty quick. Again, very silent film era, like physical comedy going on there.
These kids are the greatest demon hunters ever, essentially.
I think more just like Damien might be just like inept. He's not
the
very
worst,
good.
The worst demon there is.
Yeah, they sent him to go fuck with these very cool snowboard kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I agree. It was like, it's so goofy and like, I wouldn't say like a shit post of a story, but like it's real low effort in a way that I really enjoy.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, look at these funny things.
If you're going to make a nothing story, like really make it a nothing story.
It's real.
It's great. Yeah, it's very
They
fun.
went all the way.
Yeah.
To nothingness.
Like I don't need 10 minutes of, dialogue that somebody phoned in. Like just make Damien huck a crab at me and then somebody say, let's race. That's good enough for me.
That's
totally
enough
cool.
exposition.
Yeah,
I'm ready
I'm
to
good.
race at that point.
Yeah, I agree. So I had played this game when I was younger. I think it was like a frequent rental, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And I will say that this game is a lot of fun with another person.
I believe that.
It's really fun to like kind of just like snipe each other for a few minutes, and like leads to a lot of situations where there's like a traffic jam at the bottom of the mountain trying to get back on the ski lift, and like everybody's just jumping over each other trying to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's really fun. The items are all really fun.
Meta, huh?
Yes, absolutely, because you can like bounce people off of it pretty easily.
Yeah.
And so it leads to just sort of like a chaotic end to the race. Anyway, yeah, like have like super fond memories of this and wanted to return to it just to see like, was this game as good as I thought? And like, I think the snowboarding part of it is like fine. It weirdly felt pretty slow in points.
It did. I definitely wanted to speed myself up quicker.
Yeah.
Quite often.
Like I was kind of just like trying to jump to get myself to go quicker. And like sometimes that works. And I suspect that's probably intentional. Just like if it's a game intended for like a younger audience than like a 1080 snowboarding or something, then like you kind of do want them to be able to go at their own pace a little bit. So that's I think it's fine. It's just at points I was like, man, I would love to just get like a boost and go right now.
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, returning to it made me appreciate the vibe of this game so much more than I realized. Like it is oddly chipper in a way that is so nice to experience. The colors are so vibrant in the game. The story is nothing, and I love that. The music is very good.
Very good.
Speaking of which, video game podtimism sidebar onto the music part.
All right, here we go.
This is Sunny Mountain. Play a little bit. The first level, I'm pretty sure. Immediately just like so uplifting and like getting me ready to go snowboarding.
It is a very positive vibe for a game, which is nice.
Like this song takes some turns, so let me get through just a little bit more of the intro here.
Oh, here we go.
It's kind of a jam.
The chords.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
Gwag, 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 gwag. Bang, 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 bang. While you're listening to this, I want to make a note that like in a bunch of the comments for the official soundtrack, a bunch of people noted that like there's like a bitter sweetness to all of these songs, and I totally get that. Like listening to it, it is not just strictly like Mario Kart happy-go-lucky. There's a weird, it's hard to describe as like,
there's like a hint of melancholy in there.
A little bit, yeah, and like I think the combo and the cocktail of the art and the like visuals of it being so chipper, and like the songs being this kind of like bittersweet music almost, like it makes for such a bizarre experience playing it that like even at the time when I was a kid, I was like, man, I'm nostalgic for playing this video game right now. It was so weird.
I'm 5 and I'm nostalgic right now.
Dude, I've always been prone to being just like wistful about the past. I was like 10 and I was like, man, you know what was cool? Being 6.
Ooh,
love being 6.
Can't go back.
Can't go back. I'm 10 now. My whole life's already finished. But yeah, like I really like the tone that they've achieved there, in that like the game, when you look at it, makes you feel good, but the music kind of gives you this little bit of bittersweet tinge. It's very good. I like that a lot.
It gives you the sweet, but a little sour at the same time.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know of a lot of games that hit that balance so well.
I can't think of any right now.
No. It's interesting. I also just want to call out the sound effects in this game are just like really crunchy in a way that my brain really appreciates. I would like to play some, this is just going to be like a clip of a Let's Play, but I just want us to listen to like the sound effects that happen during this game. Crunchy.
I see what you're saying.
Like, this is just somebody navigating menus.
Yeah, everything is very
It's
defined,
so good.
defined sounds.
I don't exactly know what it is, but there's something in my brain way back in the lizard part that's like, hey, I kind of enjoy that. I like that part of the sound.
Keep playing that sound, baby.
Yeah, give me one more confirmation.
Do you need to go and put a Snowboard Kids sound effects into Dyson Sphere for you?
Oh man, anytime I like confirm something, that'd be very good for me. I'm just building this like satisfaction simulacrum for myself.
That'd be very good for me.
I sound like a weirdo, man. The way that the things that I enjoy and the video games that satisfy me it's a weird bunch.
I don't think that was I guess all I had to say was that you're being a weirdo sometimes, but I love it.
Yeah. That's how it be.
That's how it be.
I think this game is a perfect candidate for good games. Like, it is so the kind of thing that I like to talk about in this segment, where the game is imperfect.
Yeah.
The snowboarding is like definitely not the best snowboarding game I've ever played.
No, controls are a little too tight.
They're a little too tight. It doesn't feel as good as other snowboarding games. Like SSX is like clearly blows this out of the water as far as like achievement of snowboarding games. It's not the most complicated. It's not doing something, outrageous with its narrative or anything.
Yeah.
But like, dang it feels good to play sometimes. Like just booting this up, it was so nice. I was like, yeah, this is fun, man. Like, it's a good video game.
Just lets you get in and get going.
And there's still stuff in there that like is really cool, and they're doing something really specific. I know we talk about this a lot, but like the vibe of it is just it's so nice. They've done such a good job.
How much is that you talking or your nostalgia talking?
Good question. I think that the music is genuinely pretty good. I think that like you generally find pretty chipper and non-offensive music in kart games and like games intended for a younger audience, especially in this era. And so like that part of it, I think does actually do really well and does aid this sort of like a bittersweet feeling over this like very cotton candy coat of paint that they have on it. I'm sure it's aided by the fact that like I was 9 years old and yearning for the days of being 7 again, but sure. I do think there is some special stuff going on with the music in there, and like just the vibe of it I think is actually pretty good.
No, I think it's a solid game. I definitely would like to try playing it with a friend.
Yeah,
this definitely seems like one that's designed with that in mind. Maybe not so much the single player experience. Yeah,
I definitely played the single player, but I think I had a lot more fun like just jamming out with another person.
Yeah, if only our emulator could do online play.
Of course, we mean our N64.
Yes.
That we have purchased.
I call mine emulator.
I call my N64 my emulator. That's just its nickname.
Yeah.
You know how you can nickname Pokemon when you catch them? That's what I did for my N64.
You got me there.
I got you. Clocked Clocked and locked.
Clocked and locked.
Clocked and socked.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's my new cool phrase.
Hey, clock 'em and sock 'em, baby. We out.
Hey, Snowboard Kids too?
That's clocked and locked.
We got it.
I mean clocked and socked.
Clocked and socked.
I got my
Clocks
and my
socks.
right here. Ready to go.
Now, is it socks in clocks or clocks in socks?
It is, for me, it's clocks and socks. I have both. I have my clocks on my one hand and my pair of socks in the other.
Oh, okay.
I'm prepared
We're
for
not
any
combining.
situation. No. I don't have a clock made out of socks or a sock made out of locks. I feel like I'm in fucking Dr. Seuss right now trying to recite this.
This is a Dr. Seuss poem we're making.
I do not enjoy the clocks in locks or the locks in clocks. And then the rest of the Dr. Seuss. Nobody said I was a Dr. Seuss guy. I can't just make one up on the spot. Come on.
I was just seeing where it could go from there.
That
You've
was
had a
it.
very
That was
freeform evening, Chase, from the intro, and now what's going to be your third freeform thing of the night? Who knows?
It's going to be interpretive dance, which is going to be challenging to hear, but it will be present in the outro.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Any hoozle, do you have anything else to say about Snowboard Kids 2?
No, I don't think so. It was enjoyable. It was a fun little jaunt down snowboarding way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this game demands to be played for like an hour, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I put into it. And I'm just like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, got it. Again, it is so much more enjoyable to look at a game's value that is not from the perspective of a buyer's guide. Mm-hmm. I think so much games media was so focused on like, should you buy this video game? And like, okay, because like games are expensive, but it's so nice to be able to just like look at the video game and be like, do I like this? Mm-hmm. And the answer be yes, rather than like the specter of $60 in capitalism hanging over my neck.
It is a
I don't
very
need
capitalistic way of looking at games.
Yeah,
is this worth your hard-earned money?
I don't want that. Just let me play the game and we'll talk about that thing.
Mm-hmm. Unobstructed by the specter of capitalism.
By the horrors of having to earn $1.
Yes. Unobstructed by Jeff.
Jeff and Mark, I need you guys to take a back seat while I play Snowboard Kids too.
They are not invited to the sleepover. We're playing that all night.
Oh my God, they are super not invited. I'm not going on Facebook or Amazon.
Yeah, we're out.
I'm not gonna buy dog diapers or check when the post from 2012 was when I drank a whole bunch of beer and posted about it. It's a true thing.
You drank a whole bunch of beer. Was that thing actually filled up with beer?
It was.
Ugh.
I drank a novelty. It was not good. I drank a novelty-sized beer that used to be filled with popcorn. I put 14 Blue Moons in it to drink it. I think objectively, with the eyes of history, a mistake. A mistake.
Wait, you were fine the next day, weren't you?
David, before that point, I think I was like 22. I did not partake in salad. I did not eat salad. The day after I did this, my body was so challenged. I went to Whole Foods and hungoverly tried to make a salad with their like food bar. Because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I need to do this.
I need vitamins.
And something, just like a green something. And that was the start of my salad journey.
My
so
God.
like
that thing made you start eating salads? I had no idea. That's an amazing story.
Genuinely. I think I went to your house not that long after and like talked about like my body is ruined from this experience and I have tried putting a piece of romaine in my mouth.
And was it a good experience? Was it a good first salad experience?
I think objectively no, but at the time I was my psyche was just so shocked and warped from the experience of trying to consume 14 Blue Moons that like it led me down to in hindsight a good place because I'm an avid Caesar enjoyer. I love a good Caesar, which of the salads, of course, the worst one, the king of salads, but also the one for, you know, the those of us who enjoy a salty yummy snack rather than like a spinach and vinaigrette. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I want to enjoy my food.
Are you saying Caesar salad is bad for you?
Caesar salad, if we're judging it among the salads, is like not the best one.
It's true. Depends on how much dressing you put on. If you make your own, you can control it and still taste good.
It certainly can. But I do enjoy the taste of Caesar salad. So like sometimes when I'm at the salad place, they're like, how much do you want on here? And I say like, kind of a lot. And they'll load me up. And I still like that a lot.
Good for the soul.
Good for the soul. A big jar of Caesar dressing, you know. This is a weird way to end this segment.
I think that needs to be the name of the episode right there, right? Good for the soul. A big jar of Caesar dressing.
Oh, boy. Yeah, no, that's it. I got the title. That's good.
The grinding of Caesar.
Hello, welcome to the outro. It's me, your friend Chase Albee. I have a few things that I would like to say to you here. Namely, the first one, we're on Twitter. If you'd like to say something to us there, it's at Podtimism is where you can find us on the Twittosphere. If you are dying to send us an email, you can send it to us, gmail@podtimism.com. No, that's not it.
That's almost it.
It's so close. It's podtimism@gmail, not gmail@podtimism, you bingus.
Yeah, bingus.
Let's see. So you can email us there if you want to. We're tangentially on TikTok. That's a thing you can go with, I guess, if you want to. I haven't posted in weeks, so the pace of content is not blistering on the TikTok, but we are there. If you want to help the show, there are a few things you can do. One is you can review the show on Apple Podcast or the like. That does help, especially now that we've got some fresh art. The fresh set of eyes are on these podcasts. So that's great. What else? You can, or probably more importantly, show it to a friend and be like, hey, this podcast is neat. And they can be like, I will judge for myself, which is a totally fair response. And then maybe they like it too, which is a very good way to grow a podcast rather than, I don't know, paying for advertising time on The Daily with Michael Barbaro, because you're going to get a whole lot of daily heads in there, and you don't know if they're going to like the video games that you talk about. Well, we have no idea. Let's see. Also, two things. One, thank you, Scout Wilkinson, for your hard work on our podcast
thank you
art.
again.
Shouts out to her great work there. If you need some artwork done, she's a great resource. Also, thank you, listener, for listening to this podcast. We appreciate you being here and listening to us talk about Snow and Board and Kids and the sequel and 2. Yeah, it's great. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you. Support you in your endeavors. And we hope that you're having a good day, whatever day this ends up landing on. So with that, David, do you have any gaming wisdom for me this week?
I do.
Please. I'm dying for wisdom, honestly. I'm at a deep lack of wisdom.
You're dying for wisdom over there. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to have friends. It's good to have friends.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you can have people to play Snowboard Kids 2 with. You can have people to support you. Like Senua needed support in Hellblade. And it's also good to have friends. So if you order a whole jar of Caesar salad dressing with your Caesar salad, your buddy could be like, hey man, let's eat that shit together. Let's go. Let's do this.
Let me get a hand in that jar.
I'm with you to the end.
Are you gonna finish that Caesar dressing all by yourself?
Do we need to just get another jar of Caesar dressing?
You got a free spoon? I can put this down. Don't worry.
Y'all got some straws back there?
That's really challenging. I can so easily conjure the feeling and the taste of slurping Caesar dressing down with a straw. It's not hard to find.
Little anchovy piece just gets stuck in there. Then shoots down your throat real quick.
It's so thick.
It's a thick
Caesar dressing is a thick liquid. A thickwid, if you will.
Thiccquid Snake.
Thiccquid Snake is rocking my world.
Oh man, it's making my sick come up.
That's making my sick go out. I'm never going to be sick again with the phrase Thiccquid Snake.
He just has Caesar salad dressing in all of his holsters.
Like quick drawn with those things coming out.
Yeah. CQC and the Caesar salad's just like smashing everywhere.
The C in CQC actually stands for Caesar.
Caesar, quality Caesar.
Oh. Well, that feels like an end to a podcast, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. We found Thiccquid Snake at the end there. So I think we've done our part for the world.
You're welcome, I guess. Or I'm sorry, depending on how that last bit hits you. See y'all next week.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye.